Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is Friday. It's about 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I figured I'd go live for a little bit just to give some casual updates as to what I'm seeing, what's going on, and just kind of prepare everybody for the weekend. And so here we are. So one of the things I love to do is I love to just check out EUTXO.org. This block is empty. And I will do this while I'm letting the folks get their notifications and everything. I'll check out some Twitter. This is my Twitter feed. If you're not following, and it shows I'm live. Hey, guess what? I'm live right now. Alex, first in chat. Kyle, what's going on? Hi, everyone. Justin is gay for Crow. Well, thank you. And the Billy Bolts has been selling. It's starting to slow down a little bit, but it's still selling, so that's pretty cool. Got my first Amazon review, so very, very happy about that. They've showed a picture of it, and I'm going to read this real quick because I'm very happy with this. Hopefully there are a lot more reviews coming. Wow, what a tremendous adventure novel. I started and finished it in an afternoon. It reminded me of the Ready Player 1 and 2 books, which I love so much. I actually love those too. The reason I bought this book was due to watching the author, Jason, for several years on YouTube. I figured I would support him regardless, but was absolutely blown away by this creative book. I hope this doesn't end here and absolutely need the second. Thanks, Crow, an excellent job. Man, thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate that. Are you in chat by chance, Ryan? I'm curious if you're out there. Maybe you will be, or you'll see this video later. But anyway, I really appreciate your support. I appreciate your review. I'm definitely waiting to get some more feedback on the first book before I really start grinding and working on the second. But I would love this to be a series of like 10 books. Is kind of my little mental goal. I would love this to be a series of 10 books. And I'm still waiting on I posted this Billy Bolt's Junkyard Skirmish game, just a tidbit about the tabletop skirmish game that's coming. And I'm waiting for my prototypes, all of my, because basically I just ordered a whole collection of everything that's going to be available with this set. And I'm going to take a lot of photos, and I'm going to play it with my daughter, shoot some video, how to play, all that kind of stuff. And then this will launch. So, but it'll probably be about 2 weeks until the tabletop game launches. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to why we're here. Interestingly, CNBC is talking a lot more about ADA now. So basically on May 8th, they're showing the price action, price difference of Bitcoin, Ethereum, which has been pumping, and of course, ADA. And so I actually found this to be quite good. Did I show this yesterday? I can't remember. 201 transaction, 248 recipients, fee 0.87 cents in ADA. Now imagine this kind of efficiency at 1 million transactions per second with Ouroboros Laos. I can't wait for that to launch, man, because when Laos launches, which it's not going to be for a little while, but when that launches, it is going to be it's going to be insane, folks. I mean, because I don't think that there's even a centralized blockchain out there that's going to be able to do what Cardano will do with Laos. So, and then I think once that launches, that's when I'm going to say, okay, we're probably it's done. It's done to a certain extent. I don't think blockchains are ever officially finished, right? But I think that'll be the point where we can say, cheers, Cardano's achieved everything it's laid out in its milestone. So, did you ever look into the peak last cycle? From what I see, Cardano peaked nearly 2 months before Bitcoin in September. Interesting. I was planning on doing that today and then maybe doing a video tomorrow. But here's what I've been doing. Well, I can't show you on this computer. I was doing it on another one. So basically, one of the things that I'm going to be doing, because I've got these ultra widescreen monitors, I'm going to expand my charts. I'm going to put Bitcoin on a daily chart and then Cardano on a daily chart, and I'm going to feed it into Grok. And I'm going to say, tell me the time differences between Bitcoin spikes, Cardano spikes, Bitcoin's peak, Cardano's peak, and I'm going to have it lay it out, and I'm going to cover it all in a video, because I just think it'll be interesting to see what kind of insight Grok can give us. And another thing that and I've been painting and resin printing and doing all kinds of stuff today. I'm a little tired. It's about 3 o'clock. This is Big Daddy's nap time generally, but I haven't had a nap in a while. But anyway, the Bitcoin dominance has fallen from 65.5 down to, well, it's currently sitting at around 60, almost 64. So it's dropped a little bit, but it bottomed at around -3%. And in that, obviously, Cardano got a pump. So if we were to take this from Wednesday, May 7th, okay, and we take that to the 9th, so from 7 to 9, and then we look at the price difference in Cardano to see, well, how much of that dominance did we get? So this is 7, this is probably where it started. So from here to the 9th, which is basically where we're at right now, you can see Cardano went up about 25%. So that small Bitcoin dominance drop, likely a lot of that flowed into Cardano. And this is what we're talking about when we're talking about dominance. So at a 3% drop, Cardano rose almost 25%. And this is another element to what I want to cover in detail. I'm not going to be able to do that this video, but it's coming. I'm going to be working on that because I really want to understand, like, given where we're at in this market cycle and, everything with Bitcoin OS and Midnight and Laos and all these things associated with Cardano, as well as how does stablecoin legislature, how does all that stuff play into what's happening? If Bitcoin's dominance were to drop, let's put this on a 2-day. If Bitcoin's dominance were to drop, this was when the big pump happened, right? I think back December, was it November, December 2024? I can't remember exactly. But that was a pretty substantial drop. And then it came back up and it climbed even further. What happens if Bitcoin comes back down to the 50% range? I want to know approximately how much of that is flowing into Cardano and what that means for Cardano's price. Now, I've done videos in the past where I've done price predictions just based solely on dominance. You know what? Let me see if I can do that. I'm live. This is Friday. Nobody's got anything to do. Let's have some fun here. I'm gonna go to is it CoinGecko? I can't remember. Let me see here. Dominance. Yeah. Here we go. This is what I want. All right. So I'm gonna get rid of all this other stuff here, and I'm gonna show you guys what I'm doing here in just a second. I'm gonna load it up on the screen. Let's get rid of that too. Okay. All right. So we're going to play with dominance. Okay. So this is basically the Bitcoin dominance chart as well as ADA. Okay. And you can see on the 7th, Cardano's dominance was sitting at around 0.79%. And it's funny because it's dropped. So this is May 8th. So this was yesterday. Dominance has dropped to 0.75%, but Bitcoin's dropped 58.65%. That's very, very interesting. We've been sitting under 1% dominance since March 9th of 2025. So that's very interesting. And generally when Cardano peaks, about every time Cardano is peaked, it's generally at around 4.5% dominance. So it does climb. I'm gonna have to do a thorough study on this and really break things down. So the first peak was April 2021, and let's see here. It was April 13th, I think. but it's not giving that to me. So there's April 12th. That was that's 2022. Dang it. All right. Well, I'm not going to waste everybody's time going through it now. I will go through it though, and I'll do a video breaking everything down. But generally, Cardano's price is around 4%, 4.5% when it peaks after Bitcoin peaks. A lot of that starts flowing into Cardano and other assets. So I need to do a study. I need to figure out, where does Cardano go in terms of, because there's so much more shit in the market as well that's eating up some of the overall dominance of the total market capitalization of crypto. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be working on. But ultimately, when Bitcoin's dominance drops, money flows into other assets. Let's see. 4 minutes late, better late than never. What's up, Tony? Welcome. Many are predicting a $10 trillion crypto market cap. Assuming ADA has 5%, I would predict an $11 ADA. Yeah, I mean, I've done this. I've done these figures. I've done it at 5%, and it basically took us, above $10. I think it might have even been 12 or 15 bucks. So I think anything is possible. I think the question ultimately, though, is when. Here we are. You can see volume has been really good. It's been bullish volume since the 7th, and now we just got our first bar of bearish volume on a 4-hour candle. And you can see this is kind of an indecision candle here. So is this. So we're just kind of trending sideways a little bit over a 4-hour candle. But we've got a lot of green, man. There's a lot of green liquidity sitting underneath these price points. So even if it were to come back down, to the $96,000 area, Bitcoin would likely bounce off of that and start heading back up. Anything is really possible at this point, but you can see Cardano is currently sitting at around 78 cents. We got rejected off of 81 cents. Now, I've been telling you guys, I've been telling all my personal friends, basically everybody, yes, it's cool. It's exciting to watch Cardano, climb. But until we break above that 82 cent mark and we start turning that resistance into support at 82 cents, anything could happen. Literally anything could happen. And so that's what I'm basically waiting to see. You can see we got the weak flying crow indicator all the way down here, which is pretty solid. And away it went. I'm hoping if anything, we either trend sideways or like climb up into that 82 cent range over the course of the weekend. We could start pulling back a little bit. And then, maybe we have a down weekend. I'm hoping we don't have too much going on because I don't want any more CME futures gaps messing with shit. That's pretty much where I'm at. I don't want to see anything dramatic. We don't need any big CME futures gaps over this weekend while the price has been moving. This is obviously my long term. This is monthly. These are monthly candles, and of course we're still blue. Listen, I've been saying May Day for several months. I expected May to be very, very solid. It is so far. How high do we go? I really want to see a $2 to $3 ADA by the end of this month. Are we going to get it? I don't know. I'm not sure. I doubt it. In order for us to get that, I definitely think that Bitcoin's going to have to break like high marks. Maybe 150 grand. Like, is that even going to be possible over the course of a month? Anything is possible, as we know. And we have a lot of these pundits and people out there talking about Bitcoin breaking 500,000 by the end of this year. Listen, that's possible too. Anything's possible. Man, countries abroad, countries all over the place are starting to establish Bitcoin reserves. Was it New Hampshire just passed their whole thing where I think they're the first U.S. state, if I'm not mistaken, that they're going to be accumulating Bitcoin. You're talking 50 states. But realistically, what does that mean? None of that tells us exactly how much money is going to be flowing into Bitcoin. As well as, dang it, every time my computer resets and I have to update, I have to do all this stuff, I lose a lot of my really cool information and I don't remember where it all is. Oh, wait, you know what? Bam, I got it right here. Because I'm curious where we're at with over-the-counter volume right now. Let me log into this. Okay. Ooh. All right. Sorry about that. So we are, what was the last day? This was on the 7th, and we were at 124,000 Bitcoin available over the counter. So it went up a little bit. It's very interesting. The price is pumping, things are happening, and there's more available over the counter. I would really love to know how this over the counter balance is established. Like, where is it coming from? Is it coming directly from miners? Is that what's happening? Are these over the counter trade desks buying Bitcoin in bulk from miners at like a point discount or something? And then they're flipping it over the counter. Are they charging points or are they reducing points? I'd really like to know more details on that. Let me know in the comments if you have any insight, because I'm very curious how that works. Because there's obviously a very steady over-the-counter market that's growing. And when these different states are entering the space and they're buying Bitcoin for their reserves and all that, are they buying off of exchanges? Are they all going through like Coinbase? I assume Coinbase has an over-the-counter trade desk somehow. There's just a lot of these things that I just don't know. I don't even know where to look for a lot of this information. But overall, I think heading into the weekend, even if we get a little bit of a pullback, I think Monday is going to be very, very interesting to say the least. And I still am a little hesitant about this CME futures gap here in between 92,000, basically around the $92,000 area. But given where this moving average is, I'm not 100% we would have to come down and break below this moving average. And I'm not quite convinced we would be able to do that in a very timely fashion. You can see here, in a bull market, in a bull cycle, these CME futures gaps that happen on a weekend where the price is dropping, those get filled right back on the way up. But when the price is rising, and then we get these small little gaps here, I'm going to hazard a guess and say this is too minimal for such dramatic price action to happen, and we're going to continue moving beyond it. Because the second CME futures gap here was filled, again, when the price started moving back up. And in order for this this would have to come down substantially in a very fast time frame just to work itself back up. I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm playing with numbers here. Don't freak out. But I'm curious if this were a bottom. I'm going to look at something. I'm just curious. If this were to fill in the bear market, let's just say there is a correction, but that correction's only about 40%. That could be, this is 40% is around $128,000. So, and this has happened. This is known to happen in bull market cycles. So the question would be, if we were to get a 40% drop in the market, maybe it doesn't happen now, but it happens at somewhere around $130,000, comes back down to 92,000 before, and everybody's losing their minds thinking this is the end of the cycle, right? And they're expecting the price to go down even further, and then there's a chance that maybe we make another reversal, maybe we consolidate for a little bit, we start working our way back up to even new all-time highs, and we start getting closer to 200,000. So that is a scenario that could play out, and I hate it when I do stuff like this because sometimes my off-the-cuff kind of like, this could happen. It's weird how they often happen. So I'm not saying I want this to, but I'm just saying that it's a likelihood. There's a likelihood there. So I won't be completely shocked. But this is the one thing I've already come to terms with. I'm not selling my Bitcoin no matter what. I don't think I'm going to sell my Bitcoin until probably 2030. Everything else, we'll see. But I've got some Bitcoin, and you guys know when I made that big trade where I bought, I think it was 2 or 3 Bitcoin worth of Cardano because I was watching the spread, and I think I was able to get like 450,000 ADA for like 2 Bitcoin or whatever it was. It was really good at the time, and ADA is that trade has still worked out very well for me. And it was a very nerve-wracking trade. And I know a lot of you guys were in my chat and you're like, oh man, that's a ballsy move, that's bold, but I mean, I'm glad I did it. It worked out pretty well, and I'm sure it will continue to work out well. But I left just a little over a Bitcoin, and I think that's just going to be my own personal reserve that I've got locked away. I'm not touching it. I'm not going to touch. Like, I'm hoping that is something that, at that point, I'm able to, like, that's a retirement coin where I am full blown retired, living a life. And like all my kids, they'll get a little divvy of it. And then that'll continue. Like I would love to be able to divvy up some of this stuff, but I've tried giving my kids crypto. I was going to surprise them. Like I was going to surprise my daughters with a really big Christmas gift, but I wasn't going to tell them what it was. And I told them, I'm like, set up a Cardano wallet and get me the address. And, I want you guys to look some of this stuff up. I want you to learn. And I'm like, can't you just give me cash, Dad? Like, they just had no interest. Well, I mean, I feel bad for them because they have no idea what they basically just, they have no idea what I was going to send them. And the problem is that they're set in their ways. They have their ways that they got from not me. And it's just like, they're just not open to anything, even though this has been my life since 2017. And it's really difficult to get them to understand or care. Now, my son, he's all about it. Like, he loves it. He's a Cardano holder. He's paying attention. I think he watches some of my videos and he's always trying to learn. And he's like really big into rock climbing and and he's an amazing drummer and he's doing all this stuff. And he's learning because he's preparing for his future. As a man, I think he genuinely cares more about where we're at in the world, right? He's paying attention. And so, unfortunately, it's like I couldn't get my other daughters to pay any attention. So I think I just sent them like $100. I'm like, Merry Christmas. There you go. Could have been a hell of a lot more than that, but they just didn't seem to care. So that ship has sailed. And the problem is that I can't do anything like that. For anyone because they don't understand it. So they immediately just want to sell it and get the value today. They don't have any foresight. Now my son does, because I sent him some. He still has it and he's very, very grateful, and he's like holding on to it until I tell him what to do with it. But like if I were to do that with my daughters, he would either they would lose it, they would dump it like the moment they got it and buy a bunch of stupid shit that they don't need, that doesn't mean anything, and then they'd continue being broke. I mean, it's crazy. There's nothing I can do, but they don't live with me, so I can't like really teach them much. So yeah, that's a part of my dilemma. What's up? Afternoon. Arizona just passed. Okay, Arizona. I think it was Arizona, New Hampshire. There will be buying from both Coinbase and Zappo custody. I think it's a $80,000 minimum plus annual secured vault fee. Yeah, there you go. Everybody's paying fees just to store it. There are futures gaps at 3,000. Yeah, I know those are done. Like at this point, that stuff is so priced in one way or another. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I really want to see us break above. I want to see us at 82. If we were to work our way up over the weekend, close above 82%, maybe we got to like 85 cents, started making a recovery, came back down to 82 cents, and then worked our way back up like on next Wednesday. At that point, I would believe we're heading towards $1, above $1. But it's just everything under 82 cents to me. I'm kind of like, all right, I'll check back in a couple days. That's kind of how I feel about it. Because until that happens, I'm just not overly impressed. And so, yeah, and I've got guys that are coming to me and they're like, hey, man, how much higher do you think this is going to get? Everybody's so impatient. Like nobody wants to wait. And people see, where they got in and like how much profit they have already. And they feel like, what do I do with this? What do I do? Do I just sell it and take the profit? I've made like X number of thousands of dollars. Like I never expected to do this, right? A lot of newbies, a lot of people that I got into it a while ago. And I'm like, just wait. We're just getting started. We're just getting started, young Padawan. Just relax. I feel like once we break the original all-time high, once we break above $3, that's when I'm like zeroed in. And that's when I start really calculating a million different things from sideways. That's when I really, like, I saw on Annie with Trade Travel Chill, she's like, nobody predicted the 2021 market peak. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I had to send her my tweets about when I predicted the, and I told her, like, the market just peaked and this will be a 2-peak cycle, but I could be wrong and all that. And I had to send that to her. She's like, oh, wow, I stand corrected. She's so sweet. I was kind of more like tongue in cheek, like, you know what, it happened. But I'm not at that point yet, because I'm going to be looking at a million different things to try and really gauge like where we're at. But I'm not overly concerned with putting in that kind of time, because I need more data and I want to get a little bit closer. And as we get closer, that's when you'll see me really start grinding, showing like where we're at, different metrics, different indicators, and all that sort of stuff. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to get a pretty decent idea as to likely what's happening, you might want to subscribe and hit the like button, because the more viewership and things that I have, I'm not waiting like I did last market. So this last market cycle, I did call the peak on the day. I did call later that afternoon when we landed. I said there was probably going to be a 2-peak cycle, and everybody's like, well, 2-peak? What the hell are you talking about? You're crazy, right? Everybody was flaming me on Twitter. And I was going through this morning, actually, and I was reading through a lot of those old comments from back then. And just to get an idea is like, what was the sentiment? Like, people literally thought I was crazy. They thought I was just making up shit. They thought I was trolling them. They thought I was trying to manipulate the market. I mean, it was like everything you could imagine, right? And, I was so like, yes, I was pretty confident, but with crypto, anything could happen literally at any moment. Like, nothing's safe. Nothing's 100%. Nothing's a guarantee. And when I posted that on Twitter, but I didn't do a video about it. And when I started exiting my positions, I didn't broadcast it. I didn't tell anybody for like a couple of weeks. And everybody was really, really mad at me because a lot of people didn't sell. A lot of people held through all through the bear market, the whole nine. And I'm like, cool, listen, if you're holding ADA, you made a shit ton of free Cardano that I'm sure is going to be worth more this cycle than it was last cycle. And like everybody wins, right? So it wasn't that big of a deal, but I was very, very concerned with saying something that I would regret, saying something that would turn everybody down a bad road or bad direction. It's just like the things that I do, I don't necessarily want to reflect. I don't want everyone to follow. But I'm like, this time, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to announce it when I do it, and then to each their own. Like, you guys can choose to follow or not, and that's entirely cool. But once we get a little closer to things, and I think things are really starting to culminate into like a final thing, then that's when you're going to start seeing me really buckle down and grind numbers and grind metrics. And like, for right now, I feel like I'm just kind of hanging out. There's no hurry. I'm not in any rush. There are some things that I want to see first before I really start getting into that. And then I'll probably exit my positions, pay my taxes, and open a tabletop gaming store and just nerd out for a couple years in the bear market. That's my plan. My wife wants to open a dance studio and with a yoga studio, and it's just time to live. I need to reduce my stress, and damn it, if I don't think I've ever been more stressed on a daily basis than I ever have been since I got into crypto in 2017. It's probably why I'm so gray. I mean, hell, by the peak of the market, I'm probably going to look like Santa Claus. And yeah, that's really what I'm looking forward to. I just want to nerd out with some paints, some resin printing, some hobby stuff, some tabletop gaming. I want to open up a really nice, like kind of a higher end gaming store where everybody has to pass a smell check before they walk through the front door. You have to bathe to come into my gaming store. And that's it. I mean, maybe I'm going to turn it into like a Hooters of tabletop gaming. The Hooters of hobby gaming miniature sites, or you know what I'm saying. I'm being silly. But anyway, that's it. It's 3:00. I just wanted to come, share my sentiment where we're at. Hopefully we have a really good weekend. I will be elated if I can come on Monday morning and we're above 282 cents and we've already retested it and we're on our way back up into further, maybe the dollar. And that's what I'm really hoping to see. Fingers crossed. But we'll see. So thanks for joining me, guys. Until next time, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe as always.